Most people spend their days chasing noise. They scroll, they rush, they worry. They give their time to things that give nothing back. But life does not change by chance. It changes by choice. The wise person chooses habits that train the mind, strengthen the soul, and prepare the heart for hardship. Here are 10 hobbies. Choose even one. Practice it daily. Your life will not be the same. Every life is shaped by habit, whether chosen or accidental. The mind becomes what it repeatedly consumes and practices. If a person does not choose habits deliberately, the world will choose them instead. Noise, distraction, and endless reaction will slowly take control. A trained mind does not come from talent or luck. It comes from daily actions repeated with intention. What you do each day matters more than what you dream of doing someday. The mind, like the body, needs exercise. Without training, it becomes weak, restless, and easily disturbed. A weak mind is pulled by emotions, opinions, and fears. It reacts before it understands. It chases comfort and avoids discomfort, even when discomfort is necessary for growth. Training the mind teaches patience. It teaches the ability to pause, to think, and to choose the right response instead of the easy one. Habits that train the mind are often simple and quiet. They do not seek attention. They do not impress others. Reading a few pages each day sharpens understanding. Writing thoughts down clears confusion. Sitting in silence strengthens focus. These actions may seem small, but they shape how a person thinks when pressure arrives. When challenges come, the trained mind stands firm while the untrained mind collapses. Many people believe motivation creates discipline. In truth, discipline creates motivation. Waiting to feel ready is a form of delay. The wise person acts first, even when the mind resists. By choosing habits and repeating them daily, resistance slowly fades. The mind learns obedience to reason instead of emotion. This is not force but guidance, like teaching a child to walk steadily. The greatest danger to the mind is constant distraction. Endless information weakens judgment. Too many opinions create confusion. A trained mind learns to filter what enters it. It chooses what is useful and rejects what is unnecessary. This control protects inner peace. Not everything deserves attention. Not every thought deserves belief. Training the mind also means learning to observe thoughts without obeying them. Anger may arise, but it does not need to act. Fear may appear, but it does not need to lead. Thoughts are events, not commands. With practice, the mind becomes a place of order instead of chaos. Calm replaces urgency. Reason replaces impulse. Habits shape identity. A person who trains the mind daily becomes steady, reliable, and resilient. They are not easily shaken by praise or blame. They understand that external events are unstable, but inner character can be strong. This strength is built quietly, without applause, through repetition. The mind that is trained does not seek constant pleasure. It seeks understanding and balance. It accepts that difficulty is part of life, not an enemy of it. Instead of asking why hardship exists, it asks how to meet it well. This shift changes everything. Suffering becomes instruction. Obstacles become practice. Choosing habits that train the mind is an act of self-respect. It is a decision to live with awareness instead of drift. Each small effort is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, these choices reshape perception, reactions, and values. What once felt heavy becomes manageable. What once caused fear becomes familiar. The mind learns endurance through consistency. No one is born with a strong mind. It is earned through daily effort. Missed days do not matter as much as returning. Progress is not perfection, but persistence. Training the mind is not about controlling life, but about preparing yourself to face it. The work is quiet, repetitive, and often unnoticed, but its effects are deep and lasting. Reading with purpose is not about consuming many books, but about choosing the right ones and reading them with attention. Many people read to escape, to be entertained, or to pass time. Purposeful reading is different. It is slow, intentional, and focused on growth. It is reading to strengthen judgment, not to avoid reality. The goal is not information alone, but understanding. The mind becomes similar to what it repeatedly takes in. If it feeds on shallow ideas, it grows shallow. If it feeds on strong ideas, it becomes strong. Purposeful reading places discipline on the mind. It asks the reader to pause, to reflect, and to question. Instead of rushing through pages, the reader considers meaning and applies it to life. A few pages read with focus are worth more than many read with distraction. Reading with purpose trains patience. It teaches the mind to stay with one idea without craving constant change. In a world of short attention and quick pleasure, this patience becomes rare and valuable. The ability to sit quietly with a book strengthens concentration, and concentration strengthens self-control. This control later appears in moments of stress, when the mind no longer jumps from thought to thought. Not all reading is equal. Purposeful reading requires choice. Some words confuse more than they clarify. Some ideas excite emotions but weaken reason. The wise reader learns to select material that builds character, teaches clarity, and encourages responsibility. This kind of reading does not always feel easy or entertaining. It may challenge beliefs, expose weaknesses, or demand effort. That discomfort is a sign of growth. Reading with purpose also teaches humility. It reminds the reader that there is more to learn and more to understand. It breaks the illusion of knowing everything. By learning from the thoughts of others, the mind becomes less rigid and more balanced. This humility protects against arrogance and emotional overreaction. A purposeful reader does not accept every word as truth. They test ideas against reason and experience. They ask whether a thought is useful, not whether it is popular. This habit sharpens judgment. Over time, the mind becomes less influenced by noise and more guided by principle. Opinions lose power, and understanding gains strength. Reading is also a form of quiet preparation. When life presents difficulty, the mind searches for guidance. A mind trained by purposeful reading already has tools ready. It remembers lessons, examples, and ideas that help it stay steady. In this way, reading becomes training for future challenges. What is learned in calm moments supports the mind in chaotic ones. Purposeful reading is not rushed. It respects repetition. Reading the same passage more than once is not weakness but discipline. Each return reveals something new, because the reader has changed. Understanding deepens through repetition, not speed. This habit teaches that progress is not always forward motion, but deeper insight. Reading with purpose also limits excess. Too many books at once scatter attention. Finishing nothing creates the illusion of learning without the result. The disciplined reader chooses one book and stays with it. This focus strengthens commitment and reduces mental clutter. Simplicity creates clarity. The quiet act of reading builds an inner world that does not depend on external approval. It becomes a private space for growth and reflection. Over time, this inner strength reduces the need for constant stimulation. The mind becomes comfortable with stillness. Thoughts slow down, reactions soften. Understanding replaces urgency. The reader begins to see life not as something to escape from, but as something to engage with thoughtfully, guided by ideas that have been tested, reflected on, and absorbed through deliberate attention and steady practice. Writing to gain clarity is a quiet but powerful discipline. The mind often feels crowded because thoughts move too quickly and overlap. Emotions rise, memories surface, worries repeat, and nothing feels settled. Writing slows this movement. It takes what is tangled inside and places it outside, where it can be seen clearly. What is written no longer circles endlessly in the mind. Many people believe they understand their thoughts until they try to write them down. Writing exposes confusion. It shows where ideas are weak, where emotions are driving decisions, and where fear is hiding behind excuses. This exposure is not meant to judge but to understand. Clarity begins when honesty replaces avoidance. Writing creates a space where truth can appear without interruption. The act of writing forces order. Sentences must follow each other. Thoughts must be shaped. This structure trains the mind to think more clearly even when not writing. Over time, the habit improves reasoning, communication, and self-control. A mind that can organize words can also organize reactions. This skill becomes valuable in moments of stress, when clear thinking is most needed. Writing also reveals patterns. By recording thoughts regularly, certain fears, desires, and habits become visible. What repeats itself on the page often repeats itself in life. Awareness of these patterns allows choice. Without awareness, the same mistakes are lived again and again. Writing interrupts this cycle by making the invisible visible. There is no need for polished language or perfect grammar. Writing for clarity is private. It exists to serve understanding, not appearance. Simple words are enough. Honest words are enough. The value lies in expression, not style. When the pressure to perform is removed, the mind becomes more open and truthful. Writing creates distance from emotion. Anger written down becomes something observed rather than obeyed. Fear placed on paper loses its urgency. This distance allows reason to return. Instead of reacting blindly, the writer can examine feelings calmly. This pause often reveals that emotions exaggerate threats and hide solutions. Through writing, responsibility becomes clear. Excuses sound weaker when written. Blame becomes easier to question. The mind begins to see where control truly lies. This understanding strengthens character. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, the writer recognizes their role in choices and reactions. Responsibility replaces helplessness. Writing also strengthens memory. Lessons learned, mistakes made, and insights gained are preserved. Over time, this record becomes a guide. When confusion returns, past clarity can be revisited. This continuity creates stability. The mind is no longer starting from nothing each day. The discipline of writing teaches patience. Thoughts do not always flow easily. Some days feel resistant. Writing anyway builds endurance. This endurance carries into other areas of life. Difficult conversations, delayed results, and long efforts become easier to handle. The habit teaches that progress does not depend on mood. Writing to gain clarity also improves self-trust. By facing thoughts honestly, the mind learns that it can handle truth. Avoidance weakens confidence. Honest reflection strengthens it. Over time, the writer becomes less afraid of their own mind. This courage leads to calm. A few minutes of writing each day is enough. Consistency matters more than length. The habit grows quietly, shaping awareness little by little. The mind becomes less reactive, less confused, and more grounded. What once felt overwhelming becomes understandable. What once felt chaotic becomes manageable. Writing does not change the world, but it changes how the mind meets it, by bringing order to thought, balance to emotion, and clarity to decisions through steady attention and honest expression. Embracing silence and reflection is a discipline that feels uncomfortable at first. The mind is used to noise, movement, and constant input. When silence appears, restlessness often follows. Thoughts rise without warning. Memories and worries surface. This discomfort causes many to escape back into distraction. Yet silence is not the enemy. It is a mirror. What appears in silence is what already exists within. Silence removes the mask created by constant stimulation. Without noise to hide behind, the mind reveals its true state. This honesty is necessary for growth. Reflection allows a person to see how they think, what they fear, and what they desire. Without reflection, life becomes reaction. Days pass without awareness. Silence slows time enough to observe. Reflection does not mean forcing answers. It means allowing questions. It is the practice of sitting with uncertainty without rushing to escape it. In this stillness, understanding often arises naturally. The mind begins to sort itself. What is important becomes clear. What is unnecessary loses weight. Silence trains patience. It teaches the ability to remain present without constant reward. This patience strengthens self-control. A person who can sit quietly can also wait, listen, and endure. In moments of conflict or stress, this training becomes visible. The mind does not rush. It considers. It chooses. Modern life rewards noise and speed. Silence feels unproductive because it produces nothing visible. Yet its value is internal. Reflection sharpens judgment. Decisions made after reflection are calmer and more balanced. They are less driven by impulse and more guided by reason. Silence creates space for wisdom to grow. Reflection also reveals habits of thought. Certain worries repeat. Certain judgments arise automatically. By observing these patterns in silence, a person gains freedom from them. What is observed can be questioned. What is questioned can be changed. Without silence, these patterns remain hidden and unchallenged. Embracing silence does not require isolation from the world. It can be practiced in small moments: a quiet walk, a few minutes without devices, a pause before speaking. These moments build awareness. Over time, the mind becomes less dependent on constant stimulation. Stillness becomes familiar instead of threatening. Silence teaches humility. It reminds the mind that it does not need to react to everything. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every opinion requires response. This restraint protects peace. Energy is preserved for what truly matters. The mind learns to choose its battles wisely. Reflection strengthens values. When the noise fades, priorities become clear. Actions can be compared with principles. This comparison builds integrity. The gap between what one believes and what one does becomes visible. Awareness of this gap creates the opportunity for correction. In silence, the mind also reconnects with the present moment. Without distraction, simple experiences become vivid. Breathing, movement, and surroundings are noticed again. This presence reduces anxiety, which often lives in imagined futures. The mind learns that safety exists in the present. Reflection prepares the mind for hardship. A mind accustomed to silence does not panic when external noise disappears. It does not fear loneliness or uncertainty as deeply. It has learned to sit with itself. This familiarity becomes strength during loss, change, or difficulty. Embracing silence and reflection is an act of courage. It requires facing the mind without defense. But through this practice, confusion slowly gives way to clarity. Noise loses its grip. Attention becomes steady. Thought becomes measured. The inner world grows calm and ordered, allowing a person to move through life with awareness, restraint, and quiet confidence rooted in understanding rather than distraction. Strengthening the body for resilience is not about appearance or comparison. It is about preparation. The body is the tool through which the mind acts. When the body is neglected, the mind suffers under pressure. Fatigue weakens judgment. Discomfort shortens patience. A resilient body supports a steady mind when circumstances become difficult. Physical effort teaches lessons that words cannot. When the body is challenged, the mind learns endurance. Muscles resist, breathing becomes heavy, and the desire to stop appears. Continuing with control trains persistence. This experience carries into daily life. Problems feel less overwhelming when the body is familiar with effort. Training the body builds discipline through repetition. Progress comes slowly. Strength grows over time, not in a single session. This patience strengthens character. The habit teaches consistency over intensity. Showing up matters more than perfection. This mindset applies beyond physical training. Small daily actions build lasting results. Physical discomfort is a teacher. Sweating, soreness, and fatigue are signals, not enemies. Learning to stay calm during discomfort reduces fear of difficulty. A person who trains the body regularly becomes less reactive to stress. The mind understands that discomfort can be endured without panic. Movement also clears the mind. Physical activity releases tension stored in the body. Worries lose their grip when attention shifts to breath and motion. After effort, the mind becomes quieter and more focused. This clarity improves decision-making and emotional balance. Strengthening the body increases self-respect. Keeping promises to oneself builds trust. Each completed session reinforces the belief that effort is possible. This confidence is quiet but powerful. It does not rely on praise. It comes from knowing that resistance can be faced and overcome. The body and mind are deeply connected. Poor physical condition often leads to irritability, low energy, and weak focus. A strong body supports mental resilience. Sleep improves. Mood stabilizes. Attention sharpens. These changes are not dramatic but steady. Training does not require extreme methods. Simple exercises done regularly are enough. Walking, lifting, stretching, and controlled breathing all build resilience. The goal is not exhaustion but strength and balance. Excess weakens just as neglect does. Moderation preserves energy. Physical training also teaches respect for limits. Rest becomes part of discipline. Listening to the body prevents injury. This awareness transfers to life. Knowing when to push and when to pause improves judgment. Balance replaces reckless effort. Strengthening the body prepares a person for unpredictability. Life demands movement, endurance, and strength at unexpected times. Carrying weight, walking long distances, or enduring physical stress becomes easier when the body is trained. This readiness reduces anxiety about the unknown. Regular training creates structure. It anchors the day with purpose. This structure reduces chaos. When one part of life is disciplined, others often follow. Order in the body encourages order in the mind. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, but about meeting it with control. Physical training teaches this lesson repeatedly. Each challenge faced strengthens confidence. Over time, effort becomes familiar. The body adapts. The mind follows. Together, they form a foundation capable of withstanding pressure, change, and fatigue without collapse, allowing a person to remain steady, focused, and capable in both calm and difficult moments. Practicing voluntary discomfort is the choice to step away from ease before life forces it upon you. Comfort feels safe, but it weakens resilience over time. When the mind becomes dependent on convenience, even small difficulties feel overwhelming. Voluntary discomfort restores balance by reminding the mind and body that they can endure more than they expect. This practice is not about punishment. It is about preparation. Choosing mild hardship builds tolerance for greater challenges. Simple actions like cold showers, simple meals, or walking instead of resting teach self-control. These moments train the mind to remain calm when comfort is absent. Discomfort reveals attachment. When ease is removed, reactions appear. Irritation, resistance, and impatience surface quickly. Observing these reactions provides insight. It shows where dependence exists. What causes the strongest discomfort often reveals what controls the mind. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. Voluntary discomfort reduces fear of loss. When a person willingly experiences less, they learn that survival does not depend on constant pleasure. This understanding weakens anxiety about change. When life takes comfort away, the shock is smaller. The mind has already practiced adaptation. Choosing discomfort strengthens discipline. Acting against desire builds authority over impulse. The mind learns that it does not have to obey every urge. Hunger can be felt without panic. Cold can be tolerated without complaint. This control spreads into other areas of life. Temptation loses power. Voluntary discomfort also sharpens gratitude. When comfort returns, it is appreciated rather than taken for granted. Simple pleasures feel richer. Warmth, rest, and food regain their value. Gratitude grows naturally when excess is reduced. This practice teaches perspective. Many complaints disappear when compared to chosen hardship. Minor inconveniences no longer feel significant. Energy is preserved for real challenges. The mind becomes less dramatic and more grounded. Discomfort builds trust in oneself. Each time hardship is faced willingly, confidence grows. The mind learns that it can handle strain without breaking. This confidence is quiet and steady. It does not depend on circumstances. Voluntary discomfort encourages simplicity. Excess is stripped away, needs become clear. This simplicity reduces mental clutter. Fewer desires create more peace. The mind becomes lighter when it carries less. Practicing discomfort also reduces reliance on external control. When comfort is always provided, dependence grows. By choosing discomfort, a person takes control back. Strength becomes internal rather than conditional. This practice does not require extremes. Small challenges are enough. Skipping unnecessary pleasures, waking earlier, or enduring silence can all serve the purpose. Consistency matters more than intensity. Voluntary discomfort builds resilience before crisis arrives. Life will bring loss, pain, and uncertainty. Preparation softens the impact. A mind familiar with hardship does not collapse when faced with it. Through chosen difficulty, strength is earned. Comfort becomes a choice rather than a need. The mind grows steady. Fear weakens, confidence strengthens. A person trained by voluntary discomfort walks through life less fragile, less reactive, and more capable of meeting whatever arrives with calm endurance and disciplined control over desire and response.